Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is BB, and if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're back for another video, then welcome back. So today I am going to be telling you guys, giving you advice, giving you all the secrets, everything that I know about finding the perfect travel nursing recruiter for you. Now, I know if you are somebody who is a travel nurse or somebody who is going to be starting your first assignment, there is a lot of pressure and emphasis put into finding the perfect travel nurse recruiter for you. So today I am going to break it down, let you know what qualities I look for in the perfect travel nurse recruiter, and also let you know if it's really as important as you think it is. So if you guys want to hear more about this topic, then keep on watching. And also, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to have a non-popular opinion of the day. So a lot of emphasis, especially for new travel nurses, is put on finding the best travel nurse recruiter. And a lot of nurses, new nurses that are starting their first assignment, feel like this is the make or break for them. If I don't like my recruiter, then I don't want to be with the company. And believe it or not, judging your recruiter in reference to the company and your experience is sort of like judging a restaurant by the waitress. Yes, it can make or break your experience, but if the food is good, you're gonna keep coming back. And you can still work for the same company and just have a different recruiter. You can enjoy your food at a restaurant and have a better waitress the next time you come back. So, a recruiter does not always make or break your experience with a company. In my personal opinion, a company is more important than my recruiter. For travel nurses out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the most part, once I start my travel assignment, I don't really hear from my recruiter until it's almost over or halfway through and they want me to renew, or I'm calling them for something specific or an issue that I'm having on my unit. It's not like they are coddling you, holding your hand the entire way. The way I look at my recruiter is just somebody that I need who is the gateway to me getting into that company or getting into that hospital, getting into that floor, and for me to get what I want. So basically, they are my voice, my middleman, to relaying what I want, my expectations to the hospital and to whoever is getting my assignment. That is my number one thing. Do not let a recruiter make or break your experience, because at the end of the day, your recruiter has this much impact on your experience. One of the misconceptions that I find that some new nurses have, and I actually had this conversation with one of the nurses at my current hospital who is starting on her travel assignment, is thinking that her recruiter has control as to how much money she will be making on her first travel assignment. That is not really the case, guys. Your recruiter does not have direct control as to how much money you can make on your travel assignment. There's small things that they have control over as to like bonuses and things like that, but for the most part, the company, the travel company, has control as to how much money you will make on your travel assignment. I'm going to break down for you, if you're not familiar, how travel nursing pay works. A hospital negotiates with the company how much money they are willing to pay for a travel nurse. If that hospital says, I can give you $100 an hour for a travel nurse, mind you, you're not getting $100 an hour, the company is getting $100 an hour, your travel company, there is nothing that your recruiter can do to change that rate. So if your company is telling you, or the recruiter is telling you they are only able to give you $1,500 a week for a travel assignment, and you're pushing and shoving and they're not able to move that, it has nothing to do with them. They cannot give you more than what the hospital is willing to pay or what the agency is willing to give you. They are basically the gateway. So if they tell you no, it's the company that's the issue. It's not always necessarily your recruiter. It's not like your recruiter has control over billing rates. Trust me, your recruiter does not have control over the bill rate that the hospital is paying the company. All right, so that's just one of the things you want to keep in mind. Your recruiter does not always have control over how much money you are making on your contract. Now, when it comes to picking a recruiter, the best advice that I can give you is not just to call a company. So say you found a company that you really, really like, and one of the big ones that is popular is Aya. So I'm just gonna use them as an example. Never worked for them, but I'm using them as an example because I do know they are a big company. I would not recommend that you just call Aya Healthcare and just say, I'm a nurse and I want to start a travel assignment, and then they randomly assign you a recruiter. That can make or break your experience. What I would recommend and how I would go about it is to go by recommendation. You can find recommendations for recruiters for different companies by directly asking another travel nurse like myself. Hey, I know you work for Aya Healthcare. Who is your recruiter? Would you recommend them? Something else that you can do is join a Facebook group. Join a Facebook group, and a lot of times travel nurse recruiters will actually post job postings on there, and that is one way that you can reach out to them and see if you kind of vibe with them and see if they are somebody that you want to work with. At the end of the day, they are a representation of that company as a whole, but that recruiter could just be a bad recruiter, but it is a great company that has great rates, great benefits, and I would never let that deter me if that is some company that I really, really want to work with, or if they have access to a hospital that I really want to work with, because like I said, that recruiter is honestly a very small part in your experience. Another thing that you're going to want to do and trying to find a really, really good recruiter is once you find somebody and you speak to them, be very careful as to the questions that they're asking you. And I would actually honestly even be careful before I start talking to them, because a lot of companies have rules about basically you cannot jump from one recruiter to the next. Like, they're very particular about that. Whoever was the first recruiter to speak to you, that's the recruiter that you need to stick with. I had an experience like that. I was with one company. I really needed to be with that company because the hospitals in my region primarily use this travel company, but my recruiter was horrible. When I tell you she was horrible, she was horrible. So when I called back and tried to actually work with another recruiter, they told me I couldn't. And I've heard that happen to a lot of different nurses. So it's whoever spoke to you first, who has you in the notes. Like, they cannot steal nurses is how they look at it. So be mindful about that when you are agreeing to speak to a recruiter, because that might be who you end up being stuck with. And for you to change to another recruiter, sometimes it is a really big hassle. When you do finally find that recruiter, one of the questions that you're gonna wanna ask, which is very important, is how do I communicate with you? What is your preferred method of communication? Are you one of those recruiters that allow me to just call you, text you 24/7 at all times? Or are you one of those recruiters that you only want to be bothered between 9 and 5 when you get paid? There are some recruiters that are like that. I had a recruiter tell me specifically, I am available from 8 to 5. If you have any issues outside of those hours, you need to call the company or the coverage, whoever person. And then I've had recruiters that tell me whatever happens, my phone hit my personal cell phone number. You call me whenever you have any issues, any problems. I'm here for you, whatever. Okay. And that is their right. They don't have to always be available to you 24/7. So that is one way. That's one question that I would ask. And also, do they prefer to call, or do they prefer to email, or do they prefer to text? If you're a texting person, make sure your recruiter is comfortable with texting and that's their primary method of communication, and they're really good about responding. Before you sign a contract with a recruiter, I would definitely see how they act before you even get to that point when you pick an assignment with them. If just them reaching out to you where they call you, find out your name, find out what you're interested in and all that doesn't go very well, they're not really listening to you, you told them you're a med-surg nurse and they call you the next day and they tell you that they have ICU positions for you, you need to just cut them off immediately, because obviously this person is not listening to you, they're not making you a priority, they're not organized. These are all quality traits that you need in a recruiter. Another thing that you are gonna wanna ask them is who covers them when they're off, when they are not available, when they are on vacation, on the weekends. Do they have another person that covers for them, or are you gonna have to wait if you have an issue on Friday, Monday when they come back into the office? These are very important questions that you're gonna wanna ask. Honesty and patience. When you are somebody who just starts a travel assignment, you're gonna have a lot of questions and you're not gonna be familiar with a lot of different processes, procedures, and how this thing goes. You are always gonna wanna be with a recruiter that understands that comprehends that, and is patient with you. Picking a travel assignment is a really hard, I mean, it's not hard, I would say, but it is a really important decision. You're basically signing up to work a job for 13 weeks. So your recruiter is gonna wanna be patient with you, especially if it's your first travel assignment, because you have a lot of questions and you really don't know how this thing works. And for your first travel assignment, they are basically guiding you. They are letting you know how this thing works and kind of shaping your experience. There's a lot of things you may not even know that you should be asking, that you should be inquiring about, that you can benefit from. So it's kind of up to your recruiter to kind of guide you through the process the first time. After you've done this a time or two, you kind of get it. But the first time, it is really important that your recruiter knows what the heck you're talking about, okay? And they are very honest. Listening to your needs and wants. Picking a really good recruiter, listening to your needs and wants, that is really important. When I have a new recruiter, and like I said, I am not one of those nurses that sticks with one traveling company, recruiter. I don't really have loyalty to one. It's whoever can get me the best rates and get me what I want. I don't have loyalty to no companies. But when I do work with a company, I am very loyal to them for the duration of my contract and my recruiter. So I always look for a recruiter that listens to my needs and wants. If I call a recruiter and I said, listen, for my next contract, I want to go to California and I want to make at least $2,500 an hour and I want to be in North California. And the next day they call me with jobs that are in South California that are paying $1,700 a week. No, that's not a good recruiter, because you're not listening to what I'm telling you. You're trying to force me to do something that I don't want to do. And you are trying to tell me what I need when I'm trying to tell you what I need. So that is another thing that's very, very important. Once you find a recruiter and you know what you want, then your recruiter should be sending you referrals or sending you recommendations for hospitals, facilities, jobs that match what your needs are. If you have one that is not doing that, it may be time for you to find another recruiter or to find another company. So that is also very important. All right, guys, so that is the end of my video in trying to find the perfect recruiter. Now, I know I titled the video Finding the Perfect Recruiter, but just remember, no recruiter is perfect. They only could do so much as the company will allow them, but there are qualities that you always want to look for in somebody who is representing you to the hospital and the company. And that is pretty much it for my video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got some pointers, you were thoroughly entertained, and you come back for another video. And that is pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap it up and I will see you guys in my next one. Oops, I always forget, oh my gosh. So if you were able to make it to the end of this video, I want you to comment down below Hunter Green. Hunter Green, I'm wearing a Hunter Green shirt. So comment down below Hunter Green, and that just lets me know that you finished the video to the very end. Thank you guys so much for your ongoing support, and I will see you at my next video. Bye.